Hey, Maria back with another video. It is March 2nd. It is Saturday at morning and it is 7:58 a.m. And I actually have been up for quite a while. I think I got up around maybe 5ish or so. So I've just been kind of stirring around, drinking some coffee and doing some thinking, like I'm always thinking. And I think it's important that I start, I mean, I've always done a lot of morning meditations, but like now I'm starting to have to kind of meditate and feel out the social surroundings that are around me. What I mean by that is like I don't want to like dig too deeply into this situation, but I need to, understand and make sure that I feel that I'm being understood by this group that I am associated with. I think, I've made my feelings very clear, and I do feel as though, I obviously have suffered from this issue for a very, very, very long time, and I do understand that, the kind of tactics and the what do you call it, that were used on me. And I don't want to go too deeply into it, and that's not really, I'm tired of the venting videos. But I will say that the after effects, the aftermath of all of this does have left an effect on me. It's going to. I mean, people think just because I'm a strong person that, oh, that should just roll off her back or whatever. I mean, I think there's a lot of misconceptions. I mean, I have a lot of strength, and my strength comes from just the fact that I don't have any other choice but to try to survive. It is not in any way me being defiant. It is simply the fact that I'm a responsible adult. I know that I'm the only person who is responsible for me. If that's the wisest decision, especially since I have a lot of people out there who would take advantage of me. Okay, like I believe that my network, unfortunately, there were certain individuals who were taking advantage of me, and in a world where women are very vulnerable and left open to this sort of stuff, okay, and not just women, there's a lot of people who are by themselves. They're the little guy, right? And they're trying very hard to just survive. And this would be my case. I think I've talked about me having issues in the workplace. Just forever, okay, just for absolutely ever, and it is not in any. It bewilders people like myself because it's like we're not trying in any way to be defiant. We're just going about our own business, and we're like curious and puzzled as to why we're constantly dealing with bullying over and over and over again. I mean, this, of course, obviously, I have a deeper picture of what the whole thing and what happened and everything. But after, so many years of dealing with it in the school system, in the neighborhood, in my workplace, you know, and then coming to realize and get the whole scope and the whole picture. There's just so very much dehumanization in this entire thing, which I've mentioned before. Okay, and because I'm recognizing the fact that there's a lot of dehumanization in this issue, is because I'm dealing with or have dealt with people who literally do not have any idea of any sense of morality. Okay, and there's a lot of people who are like that. The reason why a lot of people, this issue just kind of maybe went in one ear and out the other, people thought it was okay and kind of condoned it or whatever, went along with it or whatever, is because they don't know right from wrong. And I mentioned this before, okay? But I am a unique individual, okay? And apparently there's certain people who tend to believe, because of my ancestral background, that I am actually a deity of long ago, okay? Which I guess under that definition, I would suppose I am, okay? But as far as I'm concerned, and I do understand, I'm very grateful for the spiritual gifts that I have, okay? But I pay my taxes just like everybody else, okay? And I am in a situation or a position in my life where I have never thought or tried to, what do you call it? what I mean by go against the system is like, I've never protested or anything like that or got involved with any sort of movements or anything like that. I've never been a political person. I was just always kind of going about my business, knowing that I had rights. And I've already talked about that before, okay? So I never felt as though I was any threat to anybody, and nor do I want to be. It's just the way I have, this is my way of life, and I appreciate my way of life. And I do understand, like, I had mentioned it before about toxicity, toxicity when you're dealing with human trafficking or gang stalking, how, what you view as possibly sacred or whatever will become corrupt, because you're having this issue with the interaction of perhaps maybe whatever whoever that hurt might be. Okay, it might be your. A lot of times, people get gang stalked through just their workplace. Okay, so it could be their boss, could be an ex. Family, it could be an ex-family member, ex-husband, spouse, wife, whatever. It could be somebody who might be in a politician or of some sort. Okay, it could be absolutely anybody. Okay, but the thing is that these sort of abuses have major effect on people. Okay, and I am feeling that a lot of people, get used in this situation where there are basically being, coerced into being informants or whatever. So, like I said, and I've said this before I even realized how deep my targeting was, is that I felt as though I needed to be pre-protected, not just from my what do you call it? Adopted family, okay? But when I'm coming, because originally that was what I was mainly concerned about. I kept thinking, my adoptive family have lost their fucking mind. Like, what is wrong with them? I didn't realize that I was, part of an experiment, blah, 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 blah. I had no idea, okay? But still, it's like, obviously I'm somebody who needs protection. And, the thing is that I have mentioned, how people, ask you questions because they want to take this information back to so and so or whatever because they try to distance you or it's a part of them trying to bully you into a certain lifestyle. I understand that certain people wanted to maybe perhaps cater to the desires and whims of this particular person. And this particular person may have also collaborated with people, members of my adoptive and as well as my blood family. And like I said, the whole, I don't need to go into why this whole thing is obnoxious and extremely offensive to me on several levels. But like I said, I am in no position to take the instruction of anybody, whether that be adoptive or it be my blood relations, because obviously you can tell in this situation that there is no love. There is no true family bond. But there is one thing, there's exploitation. And I was offended by it. And I have every right to be offended by it. I don't need to know these people. I am over the age of 18. And, the whole issue about having permission, me being, having permission for, I don't need permission for anything. I am offended on so many levels. And, without, like, I don't want to go too deep into this because, like I said, I am using my time, a lot of my time, to sort all of this out because I'm never going to get, any sort of verbal confirmation or any sort of, in fact, a lot of times when you're dealing with gang stalking, people they want to cover their tracks and act like nothing ever happened. And they'll even try to gaslight you so that you don't have to recall certain things because they want to sweep it under the, and that once again, you're the one who ends up psychologically injured. You know what I mean? So at this point, it's like I understand. I have to be very careful about the people that I communicate with because there's a lot of what I call double agents. You know what I mean? And I understand, there's a lot of like squabbling that's going on right now within this dynamic because of me understanding the full scope of what happened and then me basically pointing it out and then also pointing out the violation of my rights and then the offense of people taking liberty over another human being and then it really it's too much. But anyway, it's unfortunate that this has happened, but I do need like I need clarity, moments of clarity, so that I can do things, so that I can function. It is a very difficult way of living, feeling as though I can't make decisions because people are, somehow associated. This is why. Like, and the people that want to associate and attach themselves to me and then somehow believe that they have some sort of right or authority over me, I would never allow that in any way, shape, or form. In any way, shape, or form. And I am not obligated to cater to these people. And also, it's like when it comes to the court system, that's one of the reasons why I was willing to take this to the court system because of my brother. I thought it was simple like that, but no, it was even worse. It was even darker and more. I don't even want to go the corruption. Okay, I understand, like, because I have superior traits, and I'm sure everyone else has come to the same conclusion, right? I'm going to recognize when people are doing things that are of a violation on different levels, okay? And so I have a very hard time dealing with, you know, um, the the foolish decisions that people make. This is one of the reasons why I believe in my spiritual life, I choose not to um, I stay in my own lane. Like I hate that expression because it's becoming so like cliche. But what I mean by that is I've always been focused on myself. I don't believe in creating obstacles, creating problems, creating havoc, competing against other people. I just want to stay focused on my life. You know what I mean? I'm sorry that, when it comes to the whole thing about bloodlines, okay, because this is really what this is about. It's about bloodlines, okay? Like I said, I am not somebody who wants to carry, some sort of grudge, and I never have, okay? I am at this point because it's inconvenienced my life, you know, and it's caused me severe psychological trauma. I can't even explain it. And not only that, like I said, this whole thing has wiped out pleasant memories of things that are essential for a person to survive in life. Like I have to think of everyone as being a piece of shit, and that's not a good thing because people get violated, they get brought in, they get used, they get manipulated, they turn into, things that you don't want them to turn into. It's not pleasant. Okay, so that leaves very little room for me to have trust in people, right? So I have a hard time dealing with the foolish things that people do. I have a hard time dealing with their so-called mistakes. It's not a mistake. These things are done in a way that's being malicious. And if it's not being done malicious, then if it's done out of ignorance, well, now's your time to correct it. Meaning, like, don't correct it in my life. I mean, I don't really want anything to do with you guys. But what I'm saying is that this sort of behavior is wrong. You know what I mean? And I think it should be used as an example for people to learn from. Also, I do understand that people realize that it was a very bad idea for them to, get involved with my Patreon. Now, what I mean by that is that obviously I'm having issues with Patreon, which is beyond, abnormal, okay? Obviously, this is a service. It is a service, okay? So I'm not going to go too much into it. I mentioned it before, okay? And I created the channel or the station in October. Here we are. It's already March, okay? I have credit card bills to deal with. I have, my car payment, all these other issues. And, these people have played with me enough. And I'm sorry, you know what I mean? But I don't have a reason to be sorry because it was inappropriate to begin with. I'm always dealing with the unfortunate after effect of people's unwise decision. I have not checked my Patreon account. Right now, I'm trying to finish my videos and find enough, you know, how can I say it? I'm going to be preparing my Patreon content, okay? Because I am hell bent on getting my shit done. You know what I mean? I have to make at least 6 videos for this particular month. And even though, I know that there's stuff that's going on behind the scenes, I know that there are, okay? And I'm not going to sit here and talk too much about it, but you're overstepping boundaries. Also, I think it's really important for me to acknowledge the fact that, when women are vulnerable in human trafficking, what a lot of times they want to do is they want to focus on getting the woman married or something along those lines. So they'll start using people and having them come into your life or whatever. And the thing is that, I understand that some people's definition of marriage is about merging finances together, and this is my biggest issue from the very get go. The very point is the reason why I have to go solo is because I told people from the very beginning, even before I knew that it was this deep. Okay, I am basically somebody who is trying to protect themselves from abuse. Originally, I thought the abuse was coming from my family, whoever the abuse is coming from. You know, the thing is that has always been my goal. Okay, so you get like some of these what I'm going to say, this group, okay, who seems to think that men are supposed to be involved with the other, in whatever, with women's stuff, in order for them to make it, or whatever. It's that whole issue of somebody thinking that they have some sort of right over me. No one has any right over me. I've never given anyone permission to have any right to me. And this is not in any way me being defiant. It's before my own protection. And the law is on my side. You know what I mean? So, I am not comfortable with people, um, having any sort of dealing with me financially because of this reason. I need to protect myself from exploitation and financial abuse, and that's exactly what that would be. Because no one should have the right or hold key to anything. And I maybe some people have these sort of traditions where men do that. I know my sister Tanya. It seemed like her marriage was kind of based on that. That's their choice. They made an agreement to get into something like that. I am not, and it's not because I'm trying to, shake this, what do you call it, the status quo or anything like that. It's because I'm a woman who's all by herself, and I have no other options. I'm the only person I can rely on, and it's better that way because a lot of people would abuse me. And one sign of a person abusing me is getting their hands and digging it into my business without me telling them to. So I have to be very, very careful. And when I left the 9 to 5, I was already prepared to, like I said, I this is it. I need to make my very video series, and this is what I chose to do because it was the right thing for me to do. I realized the 9 to 5 does not work out for me. You know what I mean? And I would say I have done everything I could to keep my stamina up. Like, I didn't want to, call it quits when it came to the 9 to 5, because I'm somebody who couldn't see at one point what other alternative I could possibly have. But I've always wanted to do videos on work when it comes to the paranormal, and then I also share my life with the audience. So this is what I choose to do, and I felt like this group was following me from the 9 to 5. I mean, I will tell you, what you guys did was shocking on so many levels, and it was so wrong, and it literally disturbed me, and it made me have deep resentment towards mankind in general. It is not a joke. It's the fact that this destructive thing could make families fake. It could turn other people against each other. It was literally the most wicked thing that ever stepped into, you know, my life. And I mean, it's always been there, but it's since that time of leaving the farmer's place, it just got weirder, 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 darker, darker, stranger, and just got to the point where, like, you know what? it's like almost like everybody got touched by this demon. Like it just, I don't know. And so I feel like, um, you know, I just feel like Maria's right to stay home. Maria's right to, want to make a living, um, from home and through her talents and sharing her knowledge and, I feel more motivated to do that. Also, I needed to make this video right now to just kind of clear the air and mostly clear my mind because, um, I'm finding it really hard to concentrate because I'm constantly flipping back and forth in my mind with this issue. Like, who did this and why would they do this? And because I have to figure out who did what. Because I'm always wondering, what, are you going to stop me here? Are you going to do this? Are you going to do that? What is it? Leave me alone, basically. You've got me to this point. I'm at a point right now where I'm sitting here having to call people. You've affected my credit already. So, no, I'm not happy being in this situation. I'm not. And, like, it's the entitlement. This is narcissistic abuse. And I'm a victim of it. So, and I'm trying to pick myself back up from it. So, anyway, I want to get my Patreon videos situated. I do need to get a little bit more serious about, you know, um, just my future plans. You know what I mean? And no, I don't need people for permission. When you do something like that, what you're basically doing is you're giving people the opportunity to abuse, and this is a very abusive thing. Nobody in my family, whether it's adopted or blood relation, has any right over me, and I'm offended and very shocked that somebody would do something that stupid. But I do understand it was because of, I guess, some sort of religious thing or whatever. But whatever the case is, it shouldn't have happened, and um, I, 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 I am so behind on Patreon because of this issue, and I want people to know that this is not my fault, which everybody knows it's not. But it's like, what do you do when you're? Ask yourself, what would you have done in this situation when you're dealing with people who have this sense of entitlement, who are leaving you in the dark about your own life? They don't mind fucking up your bills. They don't mind, slowing you down. They don't mind, the fact that you're trying to build your credit and you're trying to do what you need to do in order to build your own stability. But it's okay, what would you have done? Would you have made your video series even though you saw no signs of any progress? You can't post one video, so why would you sit here and make other? I would like to know how you guys would have handled that. You know what I mean? Because I deal with a group, or dealt with a group, that I honestly felt like I could not trust. You know what I mean? So I'm always at in a point where I'm like, okay, what am I going to have to deal with now? I literally feel like I have to juggle my life every day and never know exactly what's up. So these moments of meditations, like, I try to figure out, okay, who's doing what, and I just found out who was doing what, and it really didn't make me happy. It really bothered me for several reasons. You know what I mean? This particular program is something that is so destructive and so twisted that you really don't need to get too close to people, because you really don't want to find out what they're really about. You really don't want to do that. I mean, that's just how it is, because people really do have a very strange way of looking at things. You know what I mean? And some people don't care about the damage that they cause. It's just like, wow. Anyway, so the only thing I care about right now is, of course, making money, and mostly, but I do want to put out quality. My quality of my videos, I feel as though I'm working on improving them, and I want to learn more, okay? But I have my own way of motivating myself. Believe me, I didn't need anybody giving me any pointers. I know there's a lot of people who are very proud of the fact that maybe they got their master's degree, or maybe they feel like they do with this. But you know what? I'm not interested in the competition. I'm interested in my life's work and the creation of it. This is not even about competition, and it never has been. You know what I mean? And I feel like, it's just selfish of people to like, think it's okay to like set my life. Look how many years I've been set back. That's ridiculous. You know what I mean? But I still have the drive to continue because I want to be responsible for myself. I want to protect myself and not allow myself to get in situations where I'm dealing with abusers, abusers, or walking into friendships that are, entrapments that are just going to make me hate my life. You know what I mean? Because I know I've dealt with a lot of the people that I used to work with many years ago, and there was always some sort of like dig, and there's always some sort of like the questions that they ask, and it's always like, this is not, I'm not interested in competing with you. Just because I choose not to live someone's life doesn't mean that I'm competing. It's just that, you know what, I'm trying to make the best decisions for me, especially since I am not somebody who can really benefit and learn from the human model of existence, seeing as how I'm supposed to be some sort of deity. Not saying that I can't learn anything from humans, but their way of living is never going to be mine. It only makes sense. That's just stupid. It's like, why should I? It's absurd, really, is what it is. But anyway, it was kind of silly to point me out as a clone and then try to make it so that I can't live as one. That just, it's silly. The whole thing is silly. But anyway, I'm going to go ahead and wrap up this video. I'm trying to think, is there anything else I wanted to say? Not at the moment. I'm trying to get the motivation to finish up my video. Like I said, I am dealing with, if this was a 9 to 5 job, I would probably have be considered myself going out on disability. But like I said, when it comes to the Patreon, I am not responsible for the slowdown. Now, I am responsible for trying to keep, making sure that I'm in communication with Patreon. But like I said, I'm not comfortable with the whole nature of this. So I do deal with having to get my my mind focused, being able to get enough nerve because I feel as though these people had my life on the line. I feel as though these people had a gun pressed to my head. Not I'm talking about Patreon itself, but the people who thought that they had they were entitled to do these sort of things, to try to force me into something, to try to make or modify my behavior or modify my life or force me into something that I didn't want. You know what I mean? And don't, like I said, don't get me wrong. And don't mistake me when I say that when it comes to people's plans of trying to divert you from your goals, don't think that they won't throw a honeypot your way. Don't think that they won't do these sort of things. And then try to act like this particular honeypot has some sort of right because whatever. No, right? Like I said, to me, that sort of ploy or that sort of tactic is just another scheme or some form of abuse that I need to dodge and stand up for and stand up to. So anyway, I'm going to get off this video, and I really do want to clear my head, clear my mind, get back to the video making. Okay, but like I said, I'm taking this time right now, um, at least this morning, okay? Because like I said, I'm always open to getting my mood up, 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 up. I really am. Just that right now, I feel like I need to clear the air, because I deal with a lot, I deal with a lot, and I have to carry all that on my shoulders. There is not a therapist for me. There is not somebody I can really share this with. And then a lot of people um, would not feel comfortable with me communicating this information to them because a lot of people are just outright ashamed of their behavior. You know what I mean? So I'm not interested in really conversing with a lot of people from my past. Like I said, they know how to get in touch with me. They know how to get in touch with me if they want to, but I'm not somebody who, I'm not somebody who enjoyed any of this. This was nothing, nothing about this was good. Nothing. Not a thing. And, you know, let's just put it that way. I'm just going to say that for now. In the meantime, let's hope that I have a good day. Let's hope that you have a good day. Today is Saturday. I know that Saturday is a day that people just talk and talk and talk about me, and I usually feel that like around the peak, around 10 o'clock in the morning. Um, but I I hope that um, that you guys have a good weekend, and start like kind of opening your mind up to the idea that life really is not simple. You know what I mean? It's not something that you should beat yourself up about, and you certainly shouldn't beat yourself up at if you feel as though you have not met your goals in life. A lot of that is like way beyond your control. A lot of it is, okay. So what you can control is you can't control your free time. You can control the little preferences that you have, and you're actually working within the guides of the guidelines of the law. Unless, of course, you step out of that. Like, I encourage people to fuel their passion, whatever that might be. Okay, unless of course it's something that would be illegal. Like, for example, you might be a Dexter or something like that. You can't be that. I can't condone that because it affects other people. But as long as if it doesn't affect other people, you have the right to do it. And if people have, their little squabbles and their little jealousies or whatever, this is what the law is for. You know what I mean? Be brave enough to enjoy the life that you have here on this earth. You know what I mean? It is what it is. It's not always great, but those what you can control it. Use that time. Anyway, I'm gonna get off this video, and I will be back with another video sometime later. I will be back with another video sometime later. Bye.